All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're going round two live. Still talking a little bit of Super Tuesday, but of course we'll probably have a few other topics and fun stuff to chat about tonight. As no dog again tonight, but we do have Phil, my political commentator extraordinaire. So welcome, Phil.
As if I need any introduction. And in our introduction today is International Irish Whiskey Day. I've been a wild rover for many's a year, and I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer. And now I return with golden great store. And I never will play the wild rover no more, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. Raise my glass to my Irish brethren, brothers and sisters, I hope I may say comrades and friends. This evening, I'm drinking Napoe Castle Bourbon Cask Matured Single Malt Irish Whiskey, aged 12 years.
Careful with that comrade talk. Cheers, fella. I just heard comrade right immediately. I was like, Bernie? What?
Yeah, I know. But, it's Irish Whiskey Day, International Irish Whiskey Day. So I figured one of the finest Irish whiskeys I've had would be a good sample. And, I do have some Irish background, so I had to belt out a good drinking song. So
is your Irish background? Is your Irish background kind of like Elizabeth Warren's Indian background?
My grandpa was Irish, so I hope that, I hope that's enough.
Okay. Oh, they didn't just talk about it, did they? Because that's a Warren's excuse. My family talked about it, so I must be Indian.
Oh lordy. Yeah, my grandmother was half Greek, half Hispanic, so I know there's some figure of native in there somewhere. But I don't know how much or whatever. I'm here walking this world now as the king of extreme, and I'm loving every minute of it. So what is, and what shall be, shall be. So all that being said, speaking of what is chicken, getting back to politic, Elizabeth Warren, speaking of which, didn't have the best of nights, did she?
No. So going into it, polling wise, everybody knew she wasn't going to.
She's got a whopping, according to the New York Times, whopping 20. Let's see. She won 28 delegates that night. She's got a whopping 36, according to the New York Times. Any minute now. She's right there.
Yeah. She's almost caught up to Biden at over 500 and Sanders at about 450. She's right there. She's just so close, as close to that as she is being Native American. I'm sure.
Right now, New York Times has Biden at 433 and Sanders at 388. So
yeah, it depends on what site you go on to. Like looking at CNN compared to New York Times, and then even Fox. Fox News actually seems to be way ahead of everybody else. They were calling states 3 hours before anybody else last night. And yeah, a lot of these are projected delegates at this point, but we know Biden like ran away with a ton of this, and Sanders got egg on his face. Still in it.
What was the final results in California? Do you know? Like, I've heard some conflicting reports. I'm just curious what you've heard.
Let me see here. I actually got it pulled up. I'll just pop it up on the screen here for anybody tuning in here. 1 second.
Looks like, according to New York Times, they're barely giving it to Sanders.
So CNN right now shows 56 in, with 33, almost 34% going to Sanders.
Okay, yeah, it's right now Sanders has according to New York Times, an 8.8 lead, but who knows what's going to happen there. He's plus 8.8, but Yeah, I'm showing 87% reporting. You're showing how much?
56 is what it says on here,
Oh,
but
wow.
the difference in percentage is the same. So it's CNN and the most trusted name in news. So
Oh, well,
oh yeah, oh yeah,
you were being serious there.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Well, maybe a little facetious, but
Yeah, CNN. Unfortunately, when you're asking who's the most trusted name in news, I, I'm not trying to pander at all, but you want to know who I could usually trust to give a fairly reasonable analysis?
I know where I turn to get my news
Folks
these
like
days. Dog and
Tim
Chicken Show.
Pool. Well, yes, the Dog and Chicken Show. Thank you. Your internet content providers is where you get some truth. I was going to say folks like Tim Pool, even depending on who he's talking to. Sometimes Joe Rogan, a little less lately. He's been getting a little.
He got soft with guests. He got too much shit for bringing on, the hard righties and yeah.
The fame got to him. He's let his fame kind of go to now. He's got like Bernie Sanders coming on to his show, and once he got to the point where he was endorsing people for president, it was like,
he never really
because
endorsed.
how does that not go to your head if people will actually vote based on who you endorse?
Right.
I mean,
that's the weird part though, is he never
KOE
actually.
Nation, I don't know how I handle that responsibility every day. The tens of thousands of people that tell me, Phil, how should I vote in this election? And I have to be very, very judicious with my picks.
Well, let's back it up a little bit because he never really endorsed Bernie. He was
had him on
talking.
the podcast, dude. That's pretty much.
Yeah, he had Tulsi on there too. Like in he even talked afterwards. Somebody had brought that up and they brought up like, dude, like that ad that they made making it sound like you endorsed him, like that was messed up. And he's like, he's like, it was pretty fucked up. I kind of laughed about it, but at the same time, he's like, the whole thing's stupid. He's like, that's why I don't play these games. And I don't know, that might be the last time you have a major political figure come into that show because I think it pissed him off. Like, I think there's a little voice deep down inside now that Rogan's like, you know what? I thought, having Bernie on would be a cool deal. Let people see who he really is. And then he goes and pulls a shit ad like that. Did you see the one Bernie did with Obama?
No, I didn't.
Oh, he did the same thing. He did the same thing to Obama. And you listen to it and watch it, it sounds like everything was just like dubbed and cut and perfectly placed. And at the end of it, it was like, feel the burn. It was Obama saying it, but it didn't sound like Obama. It was fucking weird, dude.
It's like, I endorse Bernie.
It was like
it
was like a deep fake though. It was fucked up, man.
Those are going to get a lot more interesting in the coming years,
Yeah.
and people can deep fake. Like, I remember the first controversy for that. This is dating. I was in grade school when G.I. Jane. You remember the movie G.I. Jane?
Oh yeah.
And there was a scene in there, if you go back and watch it, where they basically deep fake Bill Clinton into putting a pin or like I forget because it's been decades since I've seen the movie or even this scene, but there's a point where they basically computer animated Bill Clinton into this movie when he never made an appearance. And they were talking about how dangerous that could be in the future. And now here we are where I've seen some deep fakes that are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like the Joe Rogan Austin Powers one, as funny as it is, freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, here I got the Bernie one here. I'm just gonna pull it up for you. This one, it didn't seem right. Something's wrong with this.
No, it'll copyright strike us for this shit because it's it's getting Sanders' ad out there.
Well, and this should be public domain, I would imagine. This is a.
Well, yeah, they want it out there. They want you to play it Bernie just wants you to play this in like a little, window in the corner
just
of this
all
video
the time,
all day.
Yeah,
yeah, just the whole time. Like,
right, let's check it out.
Much rather that.
Feel the burn. Fake ad.
Bernie, how we doing there, Bernie?
Oh, let's have a
Bernie is somebody who has the virtue of saying exactly what he believes, great authenticity, great passion, and is fearless. Bernie served on the Veterans Committee and got bills done. I think people are ready for a call to action. They want honest leadership who cares about them. They want somebody who's going to fight for them. And they will find it in Bernie. That's right, feel the burn.
I'm Bernie Sanders, and I approve this message.
No.
I know, right?
No.
Something was off there.
Okay, no. Fuck no, dude. Jesus, that was Bill Burr. No, that never happened. That was like the bad lip readings on YouTube. Have you ever seen those where like
Oh yeah.
they'll do intentionally funny shit that they didn't really say? It's like, all right, can we get a bad lip reader to make it look like Obama said feel the burn? I will pay $10,000 to anyone who can make it look like Obama said feel the burn. But
Yeah.
no. So here it really comes down to, when do you think the almighty O will step in on the Democrat side and throw his endorsement around?
That's a really good question, and I don't think it's going to be as soon as the Democrats won. I think I know Biden's sitting there going, oh my God, what do I do? How do I get Obama? I'm still on the thought of that's how they're trying to keep Bernie out. It's obvious at this point with everybody jumping ship and endorsing, and then Bloomberg. If anybody hadn't seen the news yet, just like we predicted on the Dog and Chicken Show live last night, Bloomberg right away this morning drops out and pledges to Biden. So this is a all-out, full frontal attack to take out Bernie, not allow him the nomination. But Bernie will take this to the convention. Even if Bernie shows up to the convention with 100 extra delegates in the lead, they're still not going to let him go. They're not going to give it to him. They're going to screw him over. I think that's when
it's going to hand Trump the election.
Either way, they're handing Trump the election, but I really do think that's the time that Michelle Obama's gonna play a role in this. I don't know how, or I have my speculations, but that the Obamas are gonna try to save the party at the last minute and get behind whoever the DNC picks. They're gonna pay the Obamas a ton of money to come in and save this, whether it's Michelle having a part in running or it's just them going, all right, come together. We're the big kids in the room. We've gone through this. Let's fix this.
God.
Like,
I've heard some pretty out there conspiracies in the last few days. There's even been a talk like very close to what you were saying. Really far left poster said that Biden would nominate Obama as his vice president, and if he died, Obama could only serve out the rest of that term and not run for re-election again. I've heard some crazy shit on the internet, but yeah, like Michelle Obama would be that and more. Like, the more I think about it, it's like I hate it. Like, I'm doing the Rick and Morty. You son of a bitch, I'm in, because I know that's gonna happen. I'm not voting for that ticket because numerous reasons, but I could see that shit happening. Yesterday, I thought you're out of your fucking mind, and the more I think about it, shit, that could happen.
It could happen. And I think about how could they give Trump a run? That's it. That is, like, there is nobody else out there. There's nobody on the table. And the ones that they did, they buried because apparently Tulsi's not progressive enough some fucking how.
God, I really thought, if you would have asked me 2 years ago, I thought it'd been Tulsi. Honestly.
Yeah, well, if she wouldn't have been all about the anti-war thing, she probably could have made it. But God forbid the left.
Dare she, a leftist, be against war? Who would ever fucking thunk it? Yeah, because apparently ever since Trump ended the Afghan war, Jesus, the Democrats I chat with online have become the biggest war hawks you've ever seen in your life.
I know. And like I've talked about this before of, I used to be a staunch Democrat. Now it's pretty lefty. I still have a lot of lefty ideas. I was wondering
when you would finally admit it.
Well, no, like 20 years ago, the left in the Democratic Party was all anti-war. I was all anti-war. I'm still pretty anti-war. Sometimes it's needed. I get it. I've grown up and matured, but now, like, holy shit, when you have Tulsi running and she's like, we will not have regime change wars ever again under my presidency, and everybody's booing her. I'm like, what party are you? You have a fucking D next to your name? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Chicken, this was one thing that really appalled me around the election of Barack Obama was after Obama ascended to power, the anti-war left vaporized. And after that, it was like, wow, it really just a political peacocking to try and gain power. And that was when I became a little more cynical about the stated motives of others in the political realm.
yeah, and rightfully so. Like, I don't know what triggered it though. I that's the weird part to me is, uh, what do you think it is? What set it off? Like causing it? Because it just seemed to happen like quickly. I'm sure it wasn't an overnight deal, but like, did I miss the meeting or the memo? Did like did they're like, okay, guys, we're gonna totally flip the party's ideas backwards. It's kind of like I used to make fun of George Bush because Republicans are supposed to be small government, but he like tripled the size of the government while he was in control. So, I always joked, I'm like, oh, he's a backwards Republican. Okay, I get it. But it was more of a poking fun at him. But now the Democrats are just they like, hey, George Bush got elected twice by doing this. Maybe we should do it with war. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but I missed the memo. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
There is an odd, you're right, there's a flip. The right wingers, the conservatives are now the counterculture, and the far lefties are now the humorless the humorless censors that are deathly afraid that someone somewhere might be having fun. And it's kind of like a Louis C.K. bit that recently came out. It's like some of these people like, you shouldn't say that. That's it. Like, what are you, an old lady? What are you talking about? You're trying to police people's speech to that level?
Phil, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't.
Yeah, I know. That used to be the humorless, far right-wing Christian fundamentalists of the mid to late 90s. Okay, you remember them? The rock and roll's going to corrupt the youth, and
Marilyn Manson's killing our children. They caused Columbine. Yes. Yeah.
And now those people of that day are now the humorless left wingers of today. The people like, oh, you can't make a joke about that. You're not allowed to enjoy that. It's the old phrase of Puritanism is the fear that someone somewhere might be having fun. And now the Puritans are on the left. The right wingers are kind of the odd and lightly funny, sarcastic counterculture now. In terms of the war thing, though, yeah, Ron Paul, in my opinion, was the guy who really flipped that shit, because he was the guy that he came out like, this is an aggressive war of invasion. We have violated the idea of the just war principle of Christianity. We marched right in, we can march right out. And the Republicans, that just resonated with it. They weren't able to find a proper counter to that argument. And that was the beginning of the Republicans being a more anti-war party in the modern era. Bush totally flipped that, because it was Nixon that got us out of Vietnam. It's always been Republicans that classically would get the nation out of war. That was always, there was that whole Lincoln thing, but that's another podcast for another day.
Oh, don't get me started on Lincoln.
I'm
not a fan of
Lincoln lover.
Everybody's always like, oh, Abe Lincoln, one of the greatest presidents ever. I was like, oh God, if you only knew.
Not if you were writing for a newspaper.
Not if you disagreed with him.
Yeah. If you disagreed with Lincoln, he wasn't that great of a president.
Yeah. Everybody's like, Trump's a bigot. I'm like, dude. Let me tell you.
Have you read any
Historical
Any person of
documentation.
power in
Yeah.
power within the last 300 years? Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Jesus.
But
So let's well, the one thing I think I wanted to piggyback and close out that conversation. What I also found was I think what attracted me as a younger man to you know have a lot of those lefty ideas and be part of the Democratic Party coming up in my adolescence. But at that time, the Democrats in the late 90s, early 2000s seemed to be a little bit more elegant and, Obama-esque before Obama was a thing. You know what I mean? They seem to be the intellectuals and the different thinkers of the time, and that is flipped. Now, the Republicans are superior intellectuals and free thinkers all of a sudden, and not just stick in the mud old man like they used to be in the 90s and early 2000s. I find that the most fascinating thing. Maybe that's just my different thought process, and maybe I'm just smarter than I was when I was 18. Duh, of course I gotta be, right? Probably not. But but like, do you find it that way too? Like, I know you've always been pretty firm with Republican, but like, Democrats just seem stupid right now. Like, I don't know.
whiny.
Find
I mean,
me
it's
an
just
intellectual Democrat that is on stage right now doing anything, whether it was through the Trump impeachment or any of the crap going on. They all look like bumbling fools, from Nancy Pelosi to Adam Schiff to Joe Biden to even any of them running right now. It's just they do not interest me, and they're not fascinating to listen to at all, and they're not telling me anything that sounds like it could work, or I don't already know, or somebody's already got a better plan for that. Like, I'm done with them. It's so boring.
my impression of Charles Schumer every time a Republican holds the White House, and it works perfectly every time, is basically this: nothing is right, everything is wrong. That's, in
Yeah.
essence, my impression of Schumer every time he holds a monicum of power in the Senate and a Republican holds the White House. Uh,
I could do that job. Just
yeah, the
that's pretty
Democrats
easy.
right now, this is going to be an interesting one, because this election was supposed to be the civil war for the soul, but the Democrats have convalesced and circled the wagons around Biden because they didn't want Bernie. Because let's be honest, Bernie had no chance in Florida. Biden
Mm-mm.
has a snowball's chance in Florida. Bernie had none after his Castro comments. That basically undid him.
Yeah, that hurt him a lot.
Yeah, so God
That was just
damn.
more ammo for the right to come after him. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
he
and
even made
that's
the
where
left upset, but damn, you don't need to give people more ammo. You're already talking about being socialist and communist all the time. Like, then you give them Castro, and Castro wasn't such a bad, he had a really good, what was he was talking about, his education program or some shit. But I was like, wow, just that's so easy to take out of context, you idiot.
well, also, I'm sorry, but whoop de fucking do.
The
So there
the
was a
best
literacy rate.
analogy I heard about that was somebody goes, yeah, well, I could easily say Hitler must not be such a bad guy because Germany had the Autobahn, and that's great. So, so
Well, like, here's the thing: communist or socialist countries are not a prerequisite for a high literacy rate. That's not necessary to create a high literacy rate. There's other countries without that system of government at all that have high literacy rates. So the whole, oh, well, look at the literacy rates in Cuba. Whoop de fucking do. Meaningless, has nothing. It's just a distraction. Hey, look over here. And that was, and yes, that's why people saw it as like, wow, you're just looking for a reason to praise this guy. Who fucking cares if the literacy rates were decent in Cuba? They could be decent in Cuba under a half dozen other government systems that you could implement tomorrow.
yeah. Ugh, just weird. So yeah. Recapping. So Biden slapping him in the face, taking more delegates. We'll see how the final count comes out, and what's the next election? Like, which primaries are coming up? I can't even remember. We had March 3rd was Super Tuesday. I got it in front of me here. Hopefully, looks like March 10th. We have Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Washington, and Democrats abroad. Um, let's see. There's a few hundred delegates in there. It's like 300.
I remember last time around 2016, every delegate was counting in the Republican primary. I remember it was fascinating. I was telling people, because I had some people in my life that were pretty anti-Trump. They're still Republicans, but they didn't like Trump. I was telling you, God damn, guys, it's coming. Like, you never know. Like, your vote here in Nebraska in the primary might be the thing that stops Trump. If you really hate him that much, I guess you can't say your vote doesn't count. I remember in the primary, at one point, it looked like Cruz was the only hope to stop Trump if you wanted to stop him. And then at one point,
Trump smashed Cruz.
yeah, the Trump train. Like, have you ever, like, I'm sure you've seen the picture of Cruz just looking dejected. He's got this look on his face, where the lips are pursed in, and he's calling for Trump on election day.
When Trump just goes, well, didn't your dad kill JFK or something like that? Like,
And
what
he
the
also
fuck are you
slammed his
supposed to
wife,
say?
like, look how hot my wife is. Look how ugly your wife is.
Oh, it's fucking
And
great.
Ted Cruz, like, damn, dude. Like, I would have totally been like, I would have understood if he sat that one out. I wouldn't have been like, but no, that motherfucker, to his credit, Mr. Republican Ted Cruz, he got on the fucking phones for that. Like, him and Lindsey Graham, I don't know what the fuck he did to bring those two in line, but
I don't know. Actually, like I hated Ted Cruz for the longest time. I was like I absolutely I thought he was a weasel. He's weird and he was creepy. And then Trump pulls all that. Trump gets elected, and then I don't know. Over the last couple years, all of a sudden, Ted Cruz, like I was saying earlier, all of a sudden you see this Republican Party starting to be the party of new ideas and conflicting thoughts with the norm. And I'm like, why is Ted Cruz sound smart all of a sudden? Like, is the little lizard part of my brain coming to life, and I'm starting to like people like that now? But no, it actually sounds halfway intelligent, and he's not afraid to make a joke. Like, it was like that time we had on stage with Trump being, having his father blamed as the person who killed JFK. Like, not only humbled him, but he goes, "Oh shit, maybe I just need to have a sense of humor now." Like,
bait him, I guess, join him. But yeah, that one was a pretty, like, wow. Trump, he knows how to humble folks. And the funniest one, though, of all time, to me personally, though, is when Trump basically dangled in front of Mitt Romney. Oh, make you Secretary of State. Might be Secretary of State. No, somebody. That was.
Yeah.
That was
everybody was talking. Oh yeah, he's a shoo-in for it. Trump's definitely going to pick him. Nope.
Well, considering how he voted in the last impeachment inquiry, yeah, I can't fucking imagine why. Huh?
Yeah, he would have been a snake the whole time.
Well, yeah, that guy would have actually tried to use the 25th Amendment to try and get rid of Trump's. Like, wait, what? I'm only like 3 steps away from being president. Well, I think we got a 25th Amendment problem here, folks. So yeah, unfortunately for us all, he's got a safe seat in Utah. So we will be dealing with him for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
He is in his 60s, but he's going to be there for a while. He's just, I am Mitt Romney. I am king of Utah. Like, that's it. Like, do we even bother calling him senator, or can I just get away from now on referring to him as Mitt, king of Utah Romney?
Yeah, there you go. That works.
That's appropriate. Here on the Dog and Chicken Show, we've made a new moniker. We've made history. You were here for the day it happened. Dog and Chicken Extreme Edition. Mitt Romney is now christened King of Utah.
Yes. we dubbed thee.
Now, there's one other election result.
Before we get into that, real quick, Phil, I wanted to briefly, anybody just tuning in or catching up through the video here, last night's live show, did get kicked off of YouTube, and upon further investigation, Phil wants to
Mm,
give me shit about this, so I'll give you a sec here and just hold on. Phil's chomping at the bit to make fun of me. I played music at the end of almost every single episode, but apparently when I do a live show, and I do that, they kicked it off, so I'm in the re-editing process. It will be back up to where we can go back if you want to see some of the hijinks from last night. I had a few too many drinks and got a little colorful towards the end, but I still had a good time. We had a 2.5 hour live stream, unplanned, just off the cuff. So it was a really good time. Go back, check that one out, folks. As always, like, share, subscribe. Before we move on to the other election results, Phil, you want to let them know my dumbass what song I was
yes,
playing?
chicken. You played Metallica at the end of the podcast. Metallica. Okay, they killed Napster. They killed our awesome live stream. How many more innocent victims will Metallica have to claim? So, in my opinion, chicken, Jesus, they're the guys who started this whole copyright claim shit, and it's Metallica. So, in reality, it's actually kind of fitting, but Jesus, God, boy, really? The most untech savvy, untech hip, most copyright claim fucking asshole band in all of fucking existence, and you think that one's gonna slide?
Lesson learned. Lesson learned. So that it did teach me something. So this is off topic of election, but I learned that every episode I end with the opening to Metallica's Prince Charming. It's a really cool little Metallica or a guitar riff as they start off the song, and it's really catchy as you fade out of an episode. And yeah, I just rather enjoy that particular one. I've been doing it on almost every episode. And so I was like, well, why did the live stream get kicked off for that one? So I go back into my Google or my YouTube account and I start going through. I did get flagged for copyright on every one of those videos. However, they, instead of kicking the video off, they monetized those and then started paying the record label without notifying me or anything. Now, to be fair to YouTube, I've been able to go back. You'll slowly see my videos are slowly like going down and coming back up. But what that is I am removing that sound bite on there because no, for the hard work, effort, and the time we took to drink a lot of alcohol and talk a bunch of shit, nobody else should be able to make money off of that except for us. And until we hit this huge level of platform, which I don't care if we ever do. That's not what this show's about. This is more for fun. But until then, I can't get monetized, so nobody else can make money off my ass. So yeah, I have to go back and do a lot of editing, and I have to make my own outro song now. So fuck,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
stuff to do.
Now you know why I'm just such a singing fool on this podcast to avoid all them copyright strikes. But it is what it is. But well, chicken, like you said, lesson learned there, sir. But my personal opinion on it gonna be a little different from yours. I wouldn't even mind if they took a few ad revenues off of it, so long as they just distributed our videos a little farther, like, put them on more people's screens. Like, to me, let's get the message of the Dog and Chicken Show out. Now, granted, I'm sure it was tens of thousands of dollars of ad revenue that was lost.
Yeah, I'm sure they made like 30 cents off of us, but still, that's my goddamn 30 cents that I wanted.
Understandable, sir.
Bernie will get it for me.
Oh Lord, yeah, that could have even that could have paid for a sip.
Yeah.
So
well, speaking of paying for things, how much
in terms of fun? Like I said this at the beginning of the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, and I say this here on the Dog and Chicken Show. Folks at home, everybody there, you will know that what I do here is I do it because it is fun for me. It's enjoyable. I love connecting with people, finding out about new ideas, talking to all of you at home on the comments, everything. You will know when this isn't fun for me anymore because you'll be looking at a blank screen, because I do this because it is fun for me. And so I understand your thought process in that, chicken. And hell, it costs us 30 cents in ad revenue. Let the whoever copyrighty bastards just spread our video a little farther, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Speaking of paying for things and people taking money and or spending a lot of money, how much did Bloomberg spend per delegate? Did we ever calculate that?
According to my calculations, he got 12 delegates. Now, you said it was 456 million. I heard it was up to 700 million.
Yeah, see, my stat was at the end of January 31st.
Divided by 12 delegates. So, dear God, according to this calculation, he spent 58,333,300 all forever. But so basically,
can
the
I be a
man
delegate?
spent about 58 million, little over 58 million per delegate. Now, here's the thing you got to keep in mind, though. The man's worth 60 billion. So if you were to take the average American household's savings and you were to take their monthly income of the average American household, he spent the equivalent of, like, say, you and me spending $900 of their disposable income.
That's gross.
So, shit, yeah, he spent a lot, but he's worth $60 billion. He spent not quite $1 billion. He's, when you consider all expenditures across the year, he didn't spend all that much on doing this.
Yeah.
So, he had fun. I mean, granted,
it's cringy.
His
super
reputation
cringy
amongst women is just like, oh God.
Oh, he makes Trump look good.
Yes, he makes Trump look good because, like, no, being a billionaire really isn't it. You just can't be just a billionaire. There has to be a charisma or a je ne sais quoi or whatever the word I'm looking for is. There has to be you have to have it.
Yeah. It helps to have money too, but yeah, you got to have it too.
But in terms of being president, Michael Bloomberg ain't got it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there was a little side election going on in California yesterday as well. This is going to take us back to a story from October in Representative Katie Hill from 25th District in California. A lot of people might remember that name. That's because she was a Me Too women's rights go get it super woke lefty who was sexually harassing a staffer, and the staffer came out with nude pictures and video during a messy divorce that Katie was having with her husband, who she was claiming was. I
was under the impression it was from the ex-husband, but that might just,
I think it was a partnership there. I think the ex-husband called it out, and then the staffer went, yeah, this is happening.
When there's a messy divorce, it's pretty easy to just blame it on the other party, and people are going to generally believe it. I don't know exactly, but long story short, pictures speak 1,000 words. And when those came out, it was like, oh no. And for a while, she held on. She was not going to resign. And then it kept coming, like the drip, drip, drip kept coming. And so she eventually resigned. And why you are bringing this up now, Chicken?
Well, that was the seat that Cenk Uygur was trying to fill. Now,
of course.
Yeah, of course. So if you're not familiar with who Cenk Uygur is, got him pulled up
then
here
why
on
are
the
you
screen.
On YouTube?
Yeah, good point.
Like, I'm sorry, they promote this guy's video all the fucking time. There's no way you cannot be aware of him if you're on YouTube, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, so he did build the Young Turks from nothing to a well-known news kind of channel. I don't know. You alluded to it last night. They just watched CNN
algorithm coverage. We would be we would be somewhere between Young Turks and PewDiePie. Okay, if the algorithm favors you, it's fucking cherry. So yeah, that's I don't credit the Young Turks a lot with the rise of their own fame, because some of it was the YouTube algorithms just favoring their coverage.
Yeah, for sure. But so anyway, he's heading into this election, Of course, he gets free news coverage because he runs his own news organization, and he's fairly popular, especially among the woke left in California. Um, disastrous results last night. He came in fourth, fourth place with only 5%. Like, what? How do you run your own news organization with free publicity and fail miserably like that? Like, that's
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how much worse that could get.
so. I'm sorry, Jake Uger and all the young turds just weren't able to pull it off. I'm sorry. Being fucking dicks and assholes to anybody that slightly disagrees with you, funny enough, doesn't resonate a lot of people into a movement. That's the one thing I didn't like.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, like, they were kind of the people that started this shit of, if you disagree with me politically, that means that you're somehow evil in some way. They were kind of the fucking patient zero of that bullshit. And so,
Yeah, they were like the left morality somehow. I don't know how, but he would say some awful things on air. He got called out when he started running, of course, and I think that kind of led to some of his downfall in this election. But yeah, they like tried to do they were the woke left police before there was a woke left, and then they like watered that seed. I think that's where a lot of it grew from. That's where Rachel Maddow didn't come out of there, but that's where you get the Rachel Maddows of the world, the crazy left-wing conspiracy. Just that's She is a conspiracy theorist. There's very few facts on her show, but I digress.
that's beyond a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, Rachel Maddow, there's no like conspiracy amongst people like the Young Turks and Rachel Maddow any more than like lionesses need to openly conspire when they're all stalking in on a zebra or gazelle. They don't need to actively say what they want to do. They all have the same instinct. So there's no need to conspire. They're all part of the same political tribe, and they know, all right, this is the enemy. We need to close in on it. It's kind of shocking to see, but it is, yes, especially like Rachel Maddow, who is a conspiracy theorist in her own right. Like, my God, it's kind of funny. Think of how many times she talked down to and talked shit about folks like Alex Jones.
And then she turns around and does the exact same thing. Just, it sounds better to her because she's saying it.
Yeah, for 3 solid years engages in this Russian conspiracy, she's
still doing it. She's still fucking doing it.
Oh yeah, she sees Russians under every rock. Like, heaven help you if you happen to be a Republican person and you have ever even met a fucking Russian in your entire life. Rachel Maddow thinks you're basically a top level secret agent for the Kremlin.
Are you a Russian troll, Phil?
My grandma was half Greek.
The pause there. I'm talking to a goddamn Russian.
I was trying to think, is there anything that could even be tangentially like my grandma was half Greek? I don't like that's about as close as we get. I'm sorry. You're like, no, sorry. Ain't no risky there. But yeah, if you've ever even met a Russian person, or God help you if you have a vaguely Russian sounding name.
Oh yeah, everybody will hate you right now.
What's that?
I said everybody would hate you right now on the left. Like, I kind of want to change my name to a Russian name now. It'd be really fun to get weird looks when I say it.
Vladimir.
I don't have a good Russian accent though. Yeah, I don't have a good Russian accent.
Yeah, so. They'll be able to call out your FPS Russia fake accent pretty quick.
Yeah.
But
it's too bad. It'd be fun. I can't do it though.
Maddow, man, there was at one point like half of her coverage was dedicated to Russia, and this shit didn't pan out. And then the impeachment, that didn't pan out. It's almost like I saw a meme online and it showed Trump with like glowing blue eyes and like some powers going into his chest, and it says Trump's power doubles after absorbing impeachment attack. And that's where like
Yeah.
He just grows stronger with each one of these that gets knocked down. And the main reason I'm so certain of Trump winning re-election is really this. Have you ever seen a human being that has penetrated so deep into the general human psyche in as short a time as Donald Trump? He's been able to make himself the center of every topic. Doesn't matter what you're talking about, whether it's environmental, whether it's taxation, whether it's sports, whether it's television, whether it's commercials, whether it's reality TV, whether it's school lunches, whether it's the road bill, whether it's the goddamn stars in the outer space, Trump has figured out a way to make himself the center of every topic.
And what I
don't
like
think
about it is he'll be the center of all the topics, and yet never, and very rarely, like he'll call out when there's some bias out there, but he doesn't do the victim card that often. Like everybody else does. It's not oh, poor me. The media's coming after me. Just be like, they're all fake news. They're full of shit. I don't even listen to them. Fake CNN and John Stelter. And he'll just start talking shit and throwing it right back at him instead of crying and whining about it, or pulling a Taylor Swift and writing a song about how her life would have been so much better if she was a guy. Do we go into that tonight? I don't know. That might be a long one.
Oh Lordy. But back to
yeah, pull me back in, man. Pull me back in. I'm getting sidetracked.
Pull you back. Now here's the big question. I don't know. Did you pay attention to the Republican primary results in Texas?
It's funny. I haven't looked at the numbers, but I have listened to a lot of analysis of it, and Trump is breaking every former sitting president's records on a day that nobody has to come out.
It's just a show of solidarity. But
he had
he got
2 million
more
people
votes.
almost. Like,
what's that?
He had almost 2 million people come out and vote for him. And that was how many Democrats? Democrats had like 1.9 million. He had about the same amount of people come out and just vote for him, just for the purpose of solidarity. That was one state.
Yeah, the state of from what I heard, 1.5 million people came out and voted for Trump in Texas. And I heard that was actually more than the entire totality of people who voted for all the Democrat candidates combined. So Jamie, can we pull that up? But yeah, you might want to double check me on that. I just heard that on the Bill Still report this morning. Bill Still is actually an interesting, he's actually an interesting resource that I use come election time. But beyond that, yeah, Trump, I think he's taking Texas. Like the Democrats love to say, oh, Texas going blue this time. Nope. I don't think that's happening while the name Trump is on a ballot. He's going to take Texas handily.
So it was 1.9 and 1.9.
You're Texas. Shitting me.
Nope. 1.9 million. And honestly, Texas still, if this is correct, still says only 89% of the Republican count being in. So it could hit 2 million, I guess. But
like, I'm sorry, if they're even close when you've got this hotly contested convention on the Democrat side, and you've got this, there's no need for them to go out that day. Trump will be the nominee. That's staggering that the numbers are that close. That just shows how deep the Republican support is. So
yeah, he's shattering records across the country for people coming in, when he's not. Who's this Weld guy? It's the only guy really trying to run. He's got one delegate from Iowa, and sorry, Iowa. Yeah, and I don't know how he gets the one delegate in Iowa. The delegate counts are so weird to me sometimes. It's kind
of funny. Over the last 10, 15 years, you've seen Iowa mean less and less and less. Because
just put a fork in it, man. Iowa's done.
Presidential reigns of Pete Buttigieg, Rand Paul, Ron Paul, Michelle Bachmann. You remember those great presidential reigns, right? Yeah. No, neither does anybody else. But yeah, Iowa's been.
I don't know how
Weird.
he gets one delegate out of Iowa though. He did not win a single county, and he only got like 200 votes. Like like it's a crazy low number compared to. Oh, so you got 426 votes to Trump's
I think they did
31,423.
like South Park. They just get on the phone. Can you just give this guy something, just so he feels like he was actually here for a reason? Can you just give him a delegate? I've got a delegate. Look at me. I got a delegate. Look at me. I have a delegate. Well, yeah, it's a little sad.
I did see in the news that they are going to upgrade Joe Biden's security staff and Secret Service.
Well, that's nice. Jesus, really? Luckily for him, apparently they were just crazy vegans. So luckily for him, his elderly wife was able to still wrestle them off. But yeah, they're just little tiny vegans. So even Joe Biden's wife, was able to push her back. So that was pretty funny. But other than that, yeah, they need to up his security detail. What the fuck? That shouldn't have happened. But again, it just looks weak. It looks weak. And like when Trump was on stage one time and you just saw him kind of do this once, and then there's fucking 90,000 Secret Service on him out of nowhere. That was, okay, this guy has a competent apparatus around him. So that made me feel a little more confident. But yeah, Bernie, he's had his mic taken twice. I wouldn't be surprised if that Bernie, I'm your biggest fan. Now, this is pure speculation, pure conspiracy. I have no proof, but do you really need a weather vane to know which way the wind is blowing? I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that Bernie, I'm your biggest fan, was actually a fucking DNC operative. I mean, if she didn't exist.
No, she would be a Russian troll. She was a Russian. She was a Russian. Ask Rachel Maddow. She'll tell you.
How did I not see that? Thank you. Thank you. I would have almost pointed it the wrong direction. Clearly, anything negative that ever happens to any Democrat is only the work of Russians. And it's kind of funny, chicken. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Boy, it's awful cute as some of you Democrats in the leadership finally in 2018 start to get a wee bit of skepticism about Russia. We could have sure used that shit in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, fucking 90s. Where was all that shit then when you were Stalin's useful fucking idiots?
Yeah, well, it wasn't convenient for him at the time. So, convenience and ignorance can go hand in hand.
Yes. My God. So, pardon me.
You got a little fired up there, Phil. I don't see you getting.
My God, man.
I think you about broke a sweat on that one.
We let the Soviets do their bullshit for decades because of Democrat whining. And now suddenly, oh my God, they have a come to Jesus moment and suddenly get a touch of skepticism with the Russians. That would have been really fucking handy during our Cold fucking war.
Yeah. We do have a shout out in the live chat. Go KOE. I just replied the nation is watching.
Yes, to my vast fans in the KOE nation. Thank you all for being here. Like I said, chicken, I bring the thunder.
There you go. Always. So I touched on the Taylor Swift thing. Are you familiar with it?
No. I one time saw a Google headline and scrolled past it because she's a celebrity. Yeah. I don't really care about her political opinions.
It's probably pretty smart to just scroll through it, but it did piss me off.
And that's what rage clickbait's all about.
Yeah. So America's little sweetheart Taylor Swift came out with this video 6 days ago, and it's already got 22 million views. And the whole premise is her life would have been so much better if she would have had male privilege. And I'm like, oh, wait.
Really? Taylor Swift thinks her life would have been better as a man. Really? One of the most you know, gifted starlets and singers of our era as a female. Like, she thinks she would have had it better as a man rather than the beautiful woman that she is, and what?
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense to me, because there is validity to being truly feminine. I mean, there is validity to that. It's not. I don't understand this new perspective that's being kind of pushed today.
So I can't play the song obviously because we will get
Oh
kicked
my
off for
God.
that. However, I can do screenshots a little bit here. So uh, this is an example. She's actually dressed up as the guy in the middle, and she plays herself in.
Because of course.
Yeah, so this is her perception. This is her weird reality where she thinks this is how the evil white male today acts, because they would get on a subway and just spread their legs out with a cigar, probably flicking their ashes on people and all this other shit. But like, Phil, yeah, have you ever met a guy who's actually like that?
Now, I do have to say, with this whole man spreading thing, this is gonna come as a shocking statement to some folks, but there's a reason why men have to sit with their legs spread apart a little bit. And it's because we have a set of balls. I
Okay.
know.
I think we all know the anatomy of the male body.
Well, apparently this has to be explained to some people. Like, it's shocking. I know. Now, out of all the concessions that one could ask for, this is not an unreasonable concession to ask of. Perhaps society can slightly accommodate the fact that half of the population, give or take, is gonna have to sit with their legs a little bit spread. That's not a. I don't know why that suddenly became some big controversial thing. And
Let's not get hung up on the leg spreading thing, because that's really not what this was.
This is the topic of our era, sir.
God damn it! No,
3 hours later in this leg spread talk.
It's more trying to paint a narrative to her fans that men are so toxically evil and they do these things selfishly for themselves, and they have to spread their legs out and they don't care about anybody else. And notice it's women that were sitting next to him and taking up all the room, and they're not courteous and they're just evil, rude, mean people. That's the picture she's painting to all of your daughters that listen to her crap. It's in the lyrics, it's in the video, and she's feeding that to children. And now you look at the toxic left and woke that's out there right now. She's propagating it. She's creating little monsters that are going to grow up and think that that's what all men do and how they act, and they're just rude. They pee on walls, flick ashes on people, sit down, spread their legs, and won't move. They're just rude assholes that are out for themselves and nobody else. And life is just so great and easy for them, but you got it hard as a young woman, so you're gonna have to fight that hard, that mean man. That's the picture she's trying to paint, the story she's trying to tell. It's horseshit. That is total horseshit. And she might live in that world. I don't know. Do you think she really thinks that way, or is she just trying to please the woke?
Well, to what extent? Like, I'm gonna say it's kind of like a Venn diagram of who knows how much the two circles overlap. But it's like, I told my daughter, she's getting at that age where she's asking questions, and I'm being frank. And I was like, well, you're gonna get a lot of that man bad, he-man, man haters club type of stuff. You're gonna hear a lot of that, but there is going to come a point where you're going to want a healthy relationship with a good, healthy, stable, reliable man. And so you're going to have to be able to sift that, for some of it, for what it is. There's some folks that are just dissatisfied with their own decisions and outcomes in life. And so they're going to want to It's kind of like a episode of the Boondocks, the crabs. If a crab tries to crawl out of a bucket, the other crabs are going to try and pull it down. And it's like, if I'm not escaping, you're not escaping either. So some people like to just drag each other down by their misery. So you got to be careful about that. But so that's at least the advice I've given to the next generation that I can, is that yes, that nobody's perfect and things could be better, but you are going to eventually need to engage in a healthy relationship with a man, or, you know, if you're a man, a healthy relationship with a woman, or however you want to make those mix and matches. But eventually you're going to have to engage in healthy relationships with other people, even if you're just somebody with no man in your life at all. If you're a woman with no man in your life, you don't need no man at all. You have no, romantic engagements of any kind. You are still going to have to be able to navigate the world with healthy, social, productive relationships with other men. So and vice versa. So I've never understood. Now, like Louis C.K. said, this is a joke. It's not my joke, but it is kind of funny. He says, now, racism, I think we'll be able to get rid of racism. And we're doing a lot of great work, and I think it's on the way out. Sexism, on the other hand, isn't going fucking anywhere. That is deep the fuck down. That is just how we feel about each other. That's not just women are like, men, and men are like, women. Like, yeah, so I don't know if that shit's going anywhere.
No, you're right. That is it's a dumb joke, but it's so true. So it resonates really, really well. Wow. Women.
Women.
Liberals. Liberals.
Liberals. So that's interesting. But yeah,
it puts things in perspective sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's just kind of weird. But I didn't know anything about this new Taylor Swift thing, or that it was a controversy, because let's be honest, Hollywood's starting to try to find ways to contrive controversy.
Yeah, they're trying to stay relevant. Nobody cares anymore.
Yep.
And we used to look
Ricky
up to them,
Gervais
but
just roasted all of Hollywood, and it just hasn't been the same since. Take your literal award, thank your producer, thank you God, and shut the fuck up. Like, oh yeah. God.
Perfect. It was perfect. Needed to be said.
So, moving right along, sir.
What else you want to chat about tonight? I don't. We went through every tab I had across the top. You got anything you want to dive into yet? Looking at the chat here, it looks like Tony must have jumped in on Revolutionary Wrestling podcast account. Says Phil's has been busy this week. Apparently, I'm chopped liver. Thanks, Tony. Dick. I only drove fucking 4 hours today and worked all goddamn day. And
tell us how you really feel, chicken.
Yeah. And then Tony doesn't even jump on these. I go to wife and kid and family responsibilities. Yeah, whatever.
Sheesh. I was about to say, fucking priorities, Tony.
Get your shit together.
Podcasting to do, and you got like wife and kids and like, jeez, God. So, well, Tony, we'll get you. And here's a drink for you, Tony, on International Irish Whiskey Day. Some Napogue Castle, a top-rated one from us.
All right. I think I sent you the picture. I found a peanut butter whiskey. I can't remember what the name of it was. I know. Like I'm curious. I might bring you down Saturday. So I had I was walking with somebody today, going through, and we went through the liquor area, and he showed it to me, and I was like, "Huh, wow!" And he goes, I kind of wondered if you didn't take like the Jaeger bomb shot glass and you put the peanut butter whiskey in the middle and put grape juice on the outside, if you could have like a peanut butter and jelly shot. I was like, God. I could see that being a thing.
Why not just do it with a nice sweet red wine?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you can do it with anything
peanut
sweet.
Butter jelly in a true alcohol way.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be fascinating, sir. But also for this month, I think we got everything ready for our presidentials that I got planned.
What's our first presidential birthday, and what's the whiskey
Allow
we're gonna
me to
plan on?
grab.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll recap while Phil's grabbing the stuff there. So the new podcast that we've been talking about, little spinoff. We're gonna talk about presidents' birthdays, and in celebration of each president's birthday, we're gonna find their favorite drink or liquor or whiskey or vodka or whatever it was. You know, if it's a special drink that you have to mix up, we'll teach you how to make the drink on there. We'll bullshit a little bit about the history of that president. You know, what was good about him, what was bad about him. So you'll learn a little bit about history. You'll learn a little bit about alcohol and drink making, get some fun commentary and a little bullshitting along with it. And then we get to just drink and talk and do what we like to do. So it's a win-win for everybody. And if they don't like it, then go on to the next damn one. I really don't care at that point, but I think it'll be fun. I think it's probably one of the best formatted shows and best ideas we've had yet, and credit goes to Phil. This was his dream child, so I'm all about it though. I thought it was a fantastic idea. Nothing I like more in this world than history and liquor.
Yes, so we're combining both of them. So for every day that a president's birthday comes up, we're going to have a small toast to that president, and we're going to discuss them. The one that's coming up next on the 15th of March is Andrew Jackson, Old Hickory. So I decided to honor him, and just to start off very basic, we're going to do a basic unaged corn whiskey because he liked to drink whiskeys. And so this would be something that he would normally have available to him. This one is Loop River Distillery's Howard Hooch from here in Nebraska, from St. Paul, Nebraska. This one, I think I've tested it before, but we've never done an official podcast. So this will be what we're going to do for our toast to Andrew Jackson. So if you'd like to join us on the 15th, get any old whiskey you really like. We're just doing corn whiskey to get us a good start, and we'll be doing that. Then after that, the next day, Madison, his favorite drink was champagne, and we're going to get a little deeper into Madison and each president when the day comes. This is a Francos Montant. It's a Brut from France. It's not a champagne. It's not from Champagne Valley, but it is a sparkling wine. And this month I'm getting a little, not quite as spendy on my alcohol because this month is also my daughter's birthday. So guess which one my discretionary spending is going to go to?
Yeah, fair enough. But hey, we're just starting it, so that's fair.
And then on the 18th, Grover Cleveland. He was the guy who he served one term, lost re-election, and then won the presidency back when he re-ran. 2 separate terms, 2 separate beers for Grover Cleveland on the 18th. So
what
that one...
Grover Cleveland, what kind of beer was around back then?
That's what I'm going to start looking into, especially for other presidents. What I got on hand right now is Budweiser, but between now and the 18th, I'm going to try and find something a little more exotic because like the other ones, like, oh goodness, let's see if I can find Chester A. Arthur, he liked ale. George Washington liked a dark porter with molasses that was out of Philadelphia, which there's a distillery called Yard Brewing and Distilling that actually still makes the same recipe that was as true to George Washington's preference as they can possibly get it today. So
Washington's my boy. I like my porters, man. Hell yeah, I'm down.
And then Tyler at the end of the month on the 29th, also champagne. So probably another toast to him. So that's what we got going for March. If you'd like to join us for April, I'll just give you the April preview here. On the 13th, Thomas Jefferson, he loved Bordeaux wines. He almost went into financial ruin ordering so many French reds. So a Bordeaux blend is only fitting from the Bordeaux area of France. Buchanan, he was a fan of sherry. So we're going to try some of our first ever sherry here on the podcast. Grant, another guy who likes champagne. I'm probably going to kick it up to something else next month so we can get something a little closer to what he would have liked in the era.
Got to get a little diversity on there.
Oh, yes. This is just to give us something for this month. And let's be honest, I'm taking my daughter out to really nice dinner and giving her whatever she wants for her birthday. That's first. So, and then Monroe, we're going to get a bottle of Burgundy wine, also from France, just an area of France, just a little to the south of Bordeaux. Burgundy, some good reds. Monroe actually almost got impeached because of his love of Burgundy wine. He actually spent about $1,500 to $1,900 that Congress had earmarked on furniture, and he took that money and bought Burgundy wine with it for his own personal use in parties.
Leader of the free world couldn't figure out what to do with the money.
Bad luck too. Bad luck. But he kind of had the misapprehension. Well, I'm the president. That's basically like king, right? No. That's not how that works.
That's not.
And then we'll cut off with May, because this one will be interesting. Unless the KOE Nation demands I keep going. Okay. May Truman, he liked bourbon, so we're gonna do probably.
Finally, we're back into whiskeys and bourbons. I have to wait till May. God.
Well, hey man.
Where'd he go? I didn't even see you run off.
It wasn't my week to watch the presidential moms when they were giving birth. I'm sorry. It wasn't my week to watch them. I didn't. If you want, find us some days in April and March. You have until March 15th to give us a date that needs to be added. And there's a couple other dates I'm adding, like May 19th, Andre the Giant's birthday, Black Tot Day, on the 7/31, the last day that they ever issued rum to the Royal Navy. We got some other days that we're going to integrate. Captain Lou Albano really liked vodka, but this Booker's bourbon that I did for the other video, we'll do an official deep dive omnibus into for Truman's birthday. He would start every day. He would get up, go for a short walk, drink anywhere from 2 to 3 ounces of bourbon every day. So basically 3 shots, get a rub down, and then he's ready for the day. That was how he woke up every day.
Sounds like God. That's not a bad way to wake up every day.
No. Now Trump, this one I gotta get ahead of and get a bottle ordered. He was born on the 14th of May. Truman on the 8th of May. Trump on the 14th of May. He does not drink personally. He does not drink. I'm not going to go to all the trouble to try and find a bottle of Trump vodka, but his son, Eric Trump, does actually run a vineyard in Virginia. And I've heard a lot about Virginia wine. I just have never had a chance to sample. So this is going to be 2 birds, 1 stone. Try some Virginia wine, try Trump wine on the 14th of May. And then the 29th of May, Kennedy was born. He loved Bloody Marys. So I'm going to do all the research I can to try and make the coolest Bloody Mary I can possibly figure out. So that's a preview, kind of a shopping list. So if you'd like to join us, get a bottle of whiskey for Jackson, bottle of champagne, 3, or whatever sparkling wine suits you. If you're in California champagne is marvelous. You're going to need a bottle of champagne for Madison on the 15th, Tyler on the 29th, and for Grant on April 27th. You're going to need some good old beer for Grover Cleveland, at least 2 of them for the boy. For Jefferson, a bottle of Bordeaux or any old red wine that you prefer. Sherry for Buchanan, that's kind of specific. I'm going to see what I can do to find an actual decent bottle of sherry. Burgundy wine for Monroe or any old red that you like. Any bourbon that you love, because Truman was not too particular so long as it was American-made bourbon. He was down. Trump wine, if you can find it, for the 14th, or a Diet Coke. If you can't find it,
McDonald's, get a Happy Meal or
like today on after Super Tuesday, I'm sure Trump was so happy he practically spilled a Diet Coke on his McDouble. But and then we'll end it off with Kennedy. you're gonna have to figure out how to make your own favorite Bloody Mary. So
Well, and if you don't know, we'll teach you on the show some
yeah,
easy recipes, some tough recipes. I have a really simple one that I really like to do. I'll be happy to share on there. But
nice.
yeah,
I'm gonna try and get into a little bit more weird and complex recipe. So this will be a perfect way to do it. Your Bloody Mary, my Bloody Mary, Bloody Marys for everybody.
yeah, be a good time. Look
But
forward to
yes,
some
if
of
you
those.
want to get some more whiskeys in there, just basically before the beginning of each month, let us know. So we can let the audience know at the beginning of each month what to prepare for, so they can get in on the toast with us.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else you want to talk about tonight, Phil? Or are we going to wrap this up?
Well, I mean, there is my complete unifying theory of everything and how you can achieve truth through greater fullness. But do you think we have time for that?
Probably not.
Oh, okay. Maybe next time. Maybe
Truth for
next time.
greater fullness. That sounds like a book.
Well, you're probably right. I probably do need to distill my incredible knowledge into a book to distribute amongst the people.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
as I am known to say on here, the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast, and all the other greats, all that being said, this has been the Dog and Chicken Show live. Thanks for joining us, folks. KOE Nation, I appreciate you stopping by and lending us a little bit of your time. Tony, if you're still here with us, thanks for coming. Chicken, always appreciate it. Let me know the next time you want to do something like this. Folks, like, share, subscribe. Check us out anytime you got a chance. Check out the old videos. Can't wait to catch you on our tributes to the presidents, folks.
Awesome, and I can't wait. I'll be down in Geneva to come bang out a episode with you guys and have some drinks live. Phil gets to wear the headphones and not able to interrupt or scream really loud in the microphone because it'll blow his eardrums out. So it'll be really fun to see if Phil get adjusted. Yes, you're
I
gonna
don't
be
know
in
what
for
you're
a little
talking
surprise.
about.
Yeah. Anyway, like Phil said, appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell your friends, share the video, go back, check out the old ones. That's the only way this show grows. Make sure you share it to any platform you can. That's all we got for you tonight. Look forward to more fun episodes. Phil's kept me busy all week. Maybe, well, shit, if I'm on the road all next week, we'll bang some more of these out too. So these are fun. No plans at all. And we're managing to go an hour and a half. Last night, 2.5 hours, no script.
We did have election coverage to do it, and I think we'll probably do something similar for election night this year. Why not?
Yeah, I think so. I think we might have to get together.
I mean, like, I'll probably on my phone keep like CBS up, on my TV, Fox News. You keep like what, like, I don't know, NBC, MSNBC on a TV, and then fucking like the New York Times on your phone. And between you, me, and Tony, I think we'll be able to get like 6 sources just hanging out. Will probably be better than a Young Turks coverage. Well, that's already the case. But
yeah, we're already better than that. But anyway,
in every way conceivable.
Yes. All right, that's it for tonight. Appreciate you. Love you. Bye. No music, by the way.